Welcome back. You're watching Bottom Line. Shifting focus to Manipur now. The Manipur government's decision to partially lift the prohibition on the sale and consumption of liquor in the state has led to a series of agitation led by the Coalition Against Drugs and Alcohol, or CADA, along with some women CSOs. As we know, the N.Biren Singh-led cabinet had recently resolved to regulate the sale, consumption and brewing of liquor, while the sale and consumption of liquor will be allowed in district headquarters, in hotels with more than 20 rooms rather. The brewing of local liquor will be taken up for export purposes, among others. However, organizations like the CADA have maintained that such a move will worsen things in a state where alcohol consumption is already high despite a ban in place. What are the pros and cons? To discuss this, I am being joined tonight by Geet Chandra Mangang, the Secretary General of CADA. CADA has been protesting, agitating against the move since day one. Also joining me from Imphal is BJP spokesperson Johnson Alangbam. Thank you, both of you, Geet Chandra and Johnson Alangbam, for joining me on Bottom Line. If I can go to Geet Chandra first. Well, the CADA has been running this campaign. You have been fighting the liquor menace for years in Manipur, and now with the state cabinet decision to partially lift the ban on sale of liquor, of course, you are up in arms along with some women civil society bodies. Your bone of contention is that this decision will not help things at all in a state where already liquor consumption is high.
Yeah. Firstly, we all know that Manipur is adversely affected with drugs and alcohol since 1970s. Earlier, the women folks we call Nisabandi, the movement of the women folks started the agitation against the liquor from 1975 in every nooks and corners of the state. From this agitation, the government enacted the Manipur Liquor Prohibition Act 1991 with respect to the mothers who have doing the agitation to save the youth from liquor. Since 1991, the state government fails to implement the policy. The act into full swing. Because of this failure, the consumption of liquor is very high in the state. Even though the prohibition is enacted in the state is now being like lifting of this prohibition since many years. So in this situation, CADA is demanding to enact a full prohibition so that our youths will save from this liquor consumption and other drugs.
Again,
so
Geet
this
Chandra,
is one of the first intake.
Geet Chandra, you yourself are admitting that despite a prohibition in place, there is high liquor consumption. So the government's argument is that toxic liquor is being sold.
Okay.
If we legalize the sale, at least IMFL, good quality liquor, at least it will not take a toll on people's health.
I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the government fails to prohibit, they fail to implement this act so that the consumption is very high. According to the National Family Health Survey, Manipur is now a 4th position in consumption of liquor all over the states. So this was very unfortunate. So the government is blaming to us and also the Maira Paibi that we cannot ban alcohol. Who are the responsible for this prohibition? The main responsibility should be given to the government. They also enact the excise department who took large salary from the public taxes, but they do not turn up their actions and they do not try to prohibit and implement this act policy strictly. So this is one of the major problem. In spite of this, the state government tried to export the liquor of the local liquor from the state in 2018, but our organization, that CADA and other women groups, are agitating and objecting the agenda that is produced by the state government. So the government has produced the bill to the assembly, but due to the large agitation, the government did not take up this action. But recently, in 20 September, without consulting with the stakeholders and civil society organization, especially the Maira Paibi and women groups, the government decided to leave the prohibition which was been enacting from 1991. So this was very unfortunate. So we CADA is demanding to produce a white paper so that the legalization of alcohol will give the benefit or shall it will degrade our society. We need to discuss in this matter. So we are demanding the white paper that
which
we
the
can take the
CM has
chance
already
to
agreed to.
deliberate with the people so
Yeah.
that
Yeah, Johnson Ilangbam, how do you respond to the charges made by CADA and some other civil society organizations? And it's simple that if you cannot control things when it is prohibited, how will you control things when there is no prohibition? That's the point that they are making.
First of all, Osmaniji, government has not put the onus to anyone. It is purely of the government own decision with a conscious mind that they have started this uh, move for lifting the prohibition in Manipur since last year. So the bill was introduced in 2018, but due to some reasons it was not able to pass by the then assembly. Then, on the basis of the 2002 amendments, cabinet has taken a decision lifting the prohibition from the greater Impala areas, district headquarters, and also the hotels who has more than 20 bedded uh, house uh, beds. So, roughly, it is of a conscious mind that the government has taken this decision. And on the largest issue, one of the main three reasons why the government has taken this decision has been clearly mentioned again and again by the government representatives. Even the chief minister has said about it. First of all, regarding the health issues that has been creeping like in a very deadly scale, liver related issue disease, and many of the deaths which have occurred because of the liver disease, I think most of the re, uh, reason why they have died was mainly because of consumption of alcohol. And there has been time and again proven even by the authorities of Chinese drinks. And secondly, the local brew standard, the standard of alcohol that has been produced locally has to be standardized, and the distillation process and all has to be updated and has been put into that mark. And also at the same time, it will consume all the local produce, especially oranges. Then again, we have pineapples and other fruits also that will be brewed to the local brand of beer that has been said by the government or chief ministers again and again. And thirdly, we have to bring a regulatory mechanism to all the Indian-made foreign liquors that are available in Manipur. None of the brands that are easily available in Manipur have been put under a scanner till now. So, with this move, I think the Indian-made foreign liquors will also be under the scanner, and the spurious liquors which are found in Manipur in some recent time,
Okay.
they will also be put in, will bring the notice.
Okay.
So basically, it is all of a conscious mind that the government has taken. But and from some circles, it has been again said that it is because of revenue-oriented move. I think it is not
Okay,
like that.
we
The
will
government
just
has
fix the audio a bit with you. There's some issue with the audio, but we got your point. The health concerns and of course things have to be streamlined. Geet Chandra, well, the same point again. You yourself said that Manipur is the fourth. Earlier, it was 2 years back, the fifth, highest alcohol consuming state. That you just said. Uh, Many are saying that people are drinking anyway. If you are the fourth alcohol consuming state, people are drinking anyway. Let them drink safe liquor. That's what the government is saying. Plus, it also helps the state exchequer, gives hundreds and crores of additional revenue. That is secondary. Health is always first. Health and society is always first. No denying to that. But, across the nation, across the world, as a society, as people, of course, we also have to be learned to be responsible drinkers, and that's where organizations, the civil society body, the women's bodies of Manipur have been doing a great work for decades in ensuring that the society maintains the standards. But the government point again is that in any case people are drinking, so let them drink safe liquor instead of taking toxic liquor.
Okay, in this point, the government is saying that we cannot prohibit this alcohol. If any item which cannot prohibit it, shall it be good for legalization? For example, we cannot control this corruption. Shall we go for corruption legalization? Or we cannot control drugs, even though Manipur government is now enacting war on drugs campaign very hardly since 2018, that we cannot prohibit totally. So shall we go for this legalization? So this is what we are asking, and the government is saying that we are not trying to do this step because not for only for revenue, but they are saying for health purposes. We are saying that did the state government has do any research or study on this liquor consumption, or do the government also saying that they have gone to the Goa and they saw many household has brewing this liquor, but they did not find any liver patients. So do you have any specific and scientific data in our state? So this is what very controversial, and even though the spurious or even though a genuine liquor, this may also will compulsory give effect to health, especially in the consumption of liquor is, we all know that it make many hazard in our health, and even though the health problem like mental anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues also it happen. Yeah. This is very not only liver and other diseases also. We even though we take the expensive liquor,
But
we will it will also harmful to our health. Yeah.
Okay,
so this is
I'll
concern.
come to you
And
on that.
even though the Manipur is now.
Go ahead.
Okay. I am telling that even in prohibition, we cannot control, even the egg is still existing, we cannot control it. How can we control even after the legalization? And we all know that after taking the decision in 20, many people are started happying, they announcing that Manipur government has legalized liquor, so that many of the person who like to consume alcohol started roaming here and there. They happy the decision of the government. So this also made a very what we call confusing in our society. Even though the Fayeng that we call one traditional village who is brewing the alcohol, they start liquor festival. So this was happening now in Manipur. So the government will never control, even though the legalization is processed, and the state chief minister and also the health minister always claimed that they are doing for the health purposes only, but the women folks and the person who are going agitation now, and they suffer a lot in their family because of consumption of liquor by their husband, their sons, and even in family.
Absolutely.
So this is what we are considering.
Absolutely. Mr. Alangbam, there is no denial to the fact that successive governments, despite a prohibition in place, have not been able to control the illegal sale of liquor. Now, this, what you're terming it as a partial lifting of the ban, what is the guarantee that the government, that the excise officials, that the authorities will be able to restrict it to partial lifting? The gentleman from Kada here has given some examples where people are already opting to sale of liquor on the curb of this decision. So, can we have a policy in place wherein we can restrict the illegal sale of liquor? That definitely has not happened in Manipur, unfortunately. And let me also clarify here, we cannot promote sale of liquor. We cannot promote sale of liquor. I'm not saying the government is doing that. Government is trying to legalize things in a way so that it does not affect the health of the people. But again, can you ensure compliance? There is a big question organizations like the CADA are asking.
Mr. Goswami, according to the National Family Health Survey 5, Manipur stood at a position around fifth position. The average liquor consumers in the state has reached around 47.8%, above 15 years of age. Now, if this prohibition is lifted, as we have assumed from all circles and all expectations, we believe that this percentage will definitely come down by around 20%. So this is a good sign, and any good step taken by the government has to be watched and seen. Unless until that has happened, we cannot what you call anticipate everything on the negative side. And on the other side, also you have that in spite of all the liquor prohibition, why Manipur has stood above Goa in terms of liquor consumption. So this is actually a factual picture that we must go back somewhere to around 15-20 years back. Even the underground elements have come forward with strong hands at that time. Now, even in spite of all the government putting all the attempts, I myself, I'm not a drinker. I'm not an alcoholic taker. But even I feel myself, a person who is becoming an old man, even in my locality. Everything has been, set apart. Now it is a clear picture. Now we cannot stop the intake of alcohol. Now we can only bring some kind of restriction and also to bring the genuine quality of liquor to be made available to our consumers. This is what our government
But
has
can't we
attempted.
have a crackdown on illegal sale? I know it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but can't we stop the crackdown on illegal
See,
sale? That is the
if
concern
you
that organizations like the CADA are raising.
if you go back and track back into the history of government inactions against alcohol, I think there are ample cases where government have taken huge seizure of alcohol at various locations in the state. In spite of that, even we cannot stop it. It is unstoppable. And considering the deteriorating health conditions, government has to take a decision. Now, this is, as I have told you, taken solely on the basis of three issues that government has taken, and they have taken it. Now, the government is not going to go back to their words. So we are now we will always open for consultation, and government has already started inviting the stakeholders in these regards. So basically, naturally, I think thing has to be rolled out because we cannot remain in
But
a
again, the question that has been asked here is that why were the stakeholders not invited before the cabinet took a call in that the process has started now? Yes, the blueprint will be prepared, stakeholders will be
see.
consulted.
Uh,
Why the process was not carried out before the cabinet decision
uh,
is what organizations like the CADA
uh,
are asking.
Mr. Goswami, the government has only taken a decision, and this decision does not mean that from tomorrow there is going to be a widespread sale of alcohol across the state. Now, since the government has taken a decision, rules and regulation has to be framed so as to how to control and put this mechanism in place. And during that process, even the chief minister has repeatedly said that all the stakeholders will be invited. As you are aware, because rules and regulations are not met as of now, and is still in the process of framing these rules and regulations. So, what suggestions, what requirements are needed or has been envisaged by this organization can be come forward with their thoughts during this process. I think it is ample time that the government has given to the organizations to have a sitting so that we have a deliverance on all these things to happen in a positive side.
Uh, have you got any invitation from the government side yet on a discussion on this, Geet Chandra?
Yeah. We got the invitation from the Honorable Minister Susindro. He had invited us for meeting, but we refused the request because invitation, because as you have been said earlier, the government may call us to have a discussion before taking the decision. This will be very good for us and for the society also. But they took a very hasty decision. They say that they discussed for 2 years, but we did not get any single invitation from the government to discuss in this matter. We are working for more than 16 years in this field in drugs and alcohol. And even though many women organizations were not also invited by the government, they took a very hasty decision in recently the 20, and they gave invitation to meet us. So we also thinking that is the government is doing rightful for people or not. But the honorable CM has declared in public meeting that I will conclude it. The CM has concluded that the stand of the government will not withdraw, but we are inviting the CSO and others for rules and regulation. We are not going for. We do not like to go to the government for rules and regulation. We are saying that the lifting of prohibition, that is the cabinet decision, should be withdrawn. If they are trying to do this, they should consult with the CSOs and public, and they should produce a white paper, and we should discuss the merits and demerits of this lifting of legalization. And without this steps, the government took a very hesitant and they invite us. So, and also the Minister Sushindro has said that they invite us, but they also purchase the machines, 10 numbers of machines, which will be placed in the brewing state. So what is the reason for inviting us? Do they invite us for seeing the machines? Or what are their motive for inviting us? They're just inviting us for only namesake. So this is what we are concerned. So we have decided to talk with the government after the furnish of this white paper, so that we can discuss with public and other CSO. Then we will go for discussion with the government. This is our stand. And another problem is, the Brother Johnson has said that Manipur, in spite of this prohibition, many of persons are consuming alcohol that the government cannot ban. I'm asking that, is the state government taking any steps to fully implement this action? We know the problem of excise department, which is the main authority of the government to implement this policy, this act. We have also gone through many drives with the excise department. They have less staff. They do not have vehicles also. We produce the vehicles for them, and we take them from their office and we go drive. So this is what the government is doing. In many places, there are many excise stations. And excise station, there is only one and two staffs only. So this is what the government is doing to implement this policy.
I will take a quick response from Johnson Elangbam on this. I'm running out of time. Well, a lot of points, issues raised there, and of course some of them are very genuine. You would also agree, Mr. Elangbam.
We cannot continue raiding on a daily basis. As I have told you earlier, that the government has taken strict action against alcohol in the past. And there are records, there are video records, newspaper records that you can see that the government has stood firm against alcohol. Despite that, the availability of alcohol continues in the state. So I think it's a problem for all of us. And also, and lastly, and I would like to suggest that the government has taken a decision, and it is not against anyone. It is on the contrary, for the betterment of those consumers who are now being, forcibly, deteriorating their health conditions in the state. So it is phenomenal. I can say that, because one authority for the Jenims also has said that the diseases related to alcohol have increased sharply in the state. Okay, forget all those things. Let us come to the point that, and my brother from Kada is demanding a white paper. A white paper on what? on the lifting of prohibition of liquor. I think so far the government has come out with a statement that describes the intention of the government and how they have come to this decision. I think it is almost clear now. I think the remaining part is that the suggestive thoughts and the what I call steps these organizations want to have with the government in controlling the uh, 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 availability of liquor in Manipur can be discussed with. And I think beyond that, I think there is no other point also. So I think it is as simple as this. So the organization, especially CADA, who has worked against the alcohol abuse of alcohol in Manipur, uh, all these organizations should come forward and have a sitting with the government to discuss the various aspects as they wanted. So I think thing has to be worked, positively forward. So this is what we all believe, and I believe this will definitely
All right.
bring some
All
sort of
right.
settlement among.
I am completely running out of time. Well, end of the day, we hope there is consensus on this issue, and we just hope that people's health is more important than anything else, and there needs to be definitely a bigger crackdown on sale of illegal sale of liquor in Manipur. That is something that organizations like the CADA have raised, and that is something that the state governments, the successive state governments have failed to control. I'm sure the N.Biren Singh led government will take a strong note.